This is Ngai Yuen, and you're listening to an episode of Professionalizing Entrepreneurship. I'm with the co-creators of the Professional Practice in Entrepreneurship, Dr. Ainurul Rosli, Brunel University, London, Reader in Entrepreneurship and Enterprise, Dr. Chang, founder of GRITse Social Enterprise London. In this episode, we are going to talk about managing chaos through co-creation. Co-creation is definitely chaotic. We're talking about many hits coming together and wanting to go in one direction. I think that in itself is a tall order. So how do we do this, Dr. Ainurul?
So we need to understand that co-creation is about active participation. So when you have an active participation with shared purpose to create value, there's bound to be chaos. So we always tell our students, trust the process. We always tell them as well that you need to understand how to manage the chaos. And then this is something that managing the chaos, this is something that they have to go through rather than they prepare themselves going through it. So, it's about unlearning. It is about putting yourself into the team and into the situation to allow yourself to experiment and experience the environment together with your team.
So when we say co-creation, what do we actually mean? Can it be quantified? Can I say that, if it's 2-person co-creation, it means 50% from me, 50% from you. If it's 4-person, I'm going to, put in 25%. How does that work, really, co-creation? Or do we need to define that into something that can be quantified?
It's quite hard to quantify, but it's about shared goal, and it's about sharing the knowledge, sharing the joy, sharing the ups and downs. But of course, at the end of the day, how they want is very much self-organizing. It depends on the availability of resources needed at that time. So they themselves negotiate among the teams when they work. If I have more resources on this, probably I will get the name for this, the credit. And it depends. So it's very much a self-organizing when they co-create.
So which comes first, the goal or the skills or the skill set or the strength?
It's all in sync. Through the dialogue section, it's all in sync, and then they realize, yes. Maybe I give an example of what actually happened. I remember when we have our first semesters, our master students. In the first lecture, I said, okay, just tell me what skills you have. So they'll put all on the board the skills. I'm good at this, I'm good at that, my experience. So we call it the bird in hand principles. Tell me what you have, okay? And then, okay, what do you want to achieve as a team? Okay? So we say, okay, I want to achieve £1,000 for this social enterprise that we have chosen. So, okay, that's really great. Okay, the next thing is, okay, I need you to learn more about disruptive innovation to use. Don't just come out with an event, okay, and generate money because you're master students. You need to go through the process called generate the income through crowdfunding process. They were completely
silenced.
So the second week, the first week they were so nice to each other. We love you. You're very nice, kind of thing. The second week was the chaos come in. One of them say, Jane, I am so confused. I say, why are you confused? I'm confused because I want this, and Zelma want this, and Kaya want this. How can we make it together? Welcome to the world of chaos in your own organization. So learn to leverage. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? So they have to learn to work and dialogue among each other. It's a long process.
Well, in a work environment, there's a very clear line of hierarchy, right? At a very minimum, you know who's paying your salary at the end of the month. So you kind of at the end of the day, there is a huge chance. In fact, you're likely to say, yeah, I'm going to do this because I'm asked to do this. But in a co-creation model, that doesn't come in. Everyone has the same standing. Mm-hmm. And everyone is able to contribute and is using their own strength So I guess there must be some rules at the very beginning. What are the rules?
So they organize themselves, they set the rules in order to achieve the goals that they want to achieve.
We don't give instruction. They seek for instruction. So when we talk to them, we always have 10 rules. And rule number 1 is actually,
take initiative.
Take initiative, search for instructions. So we don't actually give them instructions. So they have to define and decide themselves. Because by the end of the day, it is a collective effort that we want them to understand. In order for you to co-create, you need to collectively work together.
So everyone needs to put in, needs to contribute. What if we have one participant that's, adopting a wait and see attitude?
Oh, we have. That's the way there is bound to be a rider. And that rider will be penalized by the group. So therefore, it's self-organizing. We don't penalize them.
So how will they penalize each other?
One example that they do is, they need to understand that the moment it's a collective effort, the first semester, I give a two different example. The first semester, because they don't really understand the teamness, the collective effort in order for them to grow together, they penalize by just leaving them away. They just even don't care. You know what? This is our team. If you are not together with us, you are at loss. It's your own decision. But the second semester, they realize that in order for them to grow together, they need to make sure that they run at the same pace with the slowest in the group. So what they did was that they encourage each other. What happened? Why didn't you actually contribute? Is there anything that we can do to make it work for you? Is there anything that we can help you with to make them feel that they are welcome in the group? And this is a skill set that they learn to empathize on other people. And they started to make a decision not about themselves, but what is the benefit for the group, but taking into consideration their own interests. And that makes a difference, because when you make a decision, considering your own interests, but taking taking on consideration other people's concern, but also not to forget your own interest. The decision actually being made is much more beneficial, much more dear to the heart with everybody. And this is where you started to run at the same pace.
So when you say search for instructions, and if they can't seem to be able to define it, who do they go to? How can they enlighten themselves or enlighten the group to try different methodology if they don't even begin to think that way?
The fact that if they are really out of we can't do anymore, they will look for us.
Yeah,
so that's why we have the coaches to guide them, so that they can reach the destination they want to achieve. But again, we do not provide the solution.
We ask questions.
We ask questions to tell them so that they become the solution to the problem that they face, the challenges that they face.
I'm quite sure it's not necessarily natural for them to look at the weakest member and to run as slow as the weakest member, to lift the weakest member up. It is not perhaps the next rational step in a group work, right?
No.
Chances are they will side the ones who are stronger and go with the stronger person's character and the stronger person's vision and go with that instead of looking at the weakest.
I think we have here we use a methodology. Every week, they have what you call the action plan. So they will start to reflect who will play what role, what task, and they will match again to the skill set they have within the member. So, for example, if you are very good with videos, so you'll be preparing the video for the crowdfunding. If you are very good with PR, you do the PR social medias. So they divide the tasks. And also, they have in the action plan, the weekly action plan, they will have tasks to be done at what date to be achieved. So it is a very set task, goal-oriented.
Right.
Yeah, and every week, there's what you call reflective. They reflect as a team whether they are working, how they are progressing. If one member is not progressing, it's written in the wiki. Everybody knows.
All right. And this is also the same concept as many of the other applications that are about teamwork, right?
Yes.
Like Trello and etc.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes I still don't have to care. So how do you make people care? Say, for example, I'm supposed to do the video for this fundraising and I didn't. I realized I could get away with it because nobody wanted to do the difficult task of confrontation, of telling me
correct.
or of having this conversation with me that finally leads to the to the methodology of I empathize with your with your situation. Most of the time, people don't talk about it.
Yeah, I think that one is about understanding the consequences, and then this is something that we allow them to go through the consequences of not doing that, of not confronting other people about not doing their task, and then they realize that we don't, it's your team, you have to decide. And then the second project, they started to put out outline, on rules and regulation, and how do you actually penalize those who are not part of doing the job that they are supposed to do. And having this understanding about whatever their action leads to consequences matters a lot, because, in any business that they wanted to do, we want to teach them that there will be a consequences. If you hold a different values, you are so focused on the monetary element and forget that, there will be a consequences to the environment, for example, or to the society, for example. They then need to make sure that any decision that they make has a consequences one way or another. And in the first semester, they have to go through
It is very difficult. The pain was so
real
to them. And there was one student said, you know what? I was so nice. I was so nice because I allowed the person to override me. So therefore, the person just get by, not doing it. I said, because you allow it to happen. So therefore, the individual in your team is able to get the marks like you, because you allow it to happen. It's your team. I can't be telling you what to do, but I made you aware. It's up to you. So you are responsible for your own action. If your team, all the members, 5 of them allow it to happen, for the 6th person to be lazy, and then he will share the same marks as you. So you need to take action. If you think that this is not fair, it is you who take action, not us.
But confrontation is another skill.
It is another skill. It's about negotiating. It's about learn to how to manage the chaos, because they don't understand that it is actually the first step to creative process. Because unless they actually open up among themselves that, I don't appreciate this behavior, and I think for us to move forward, to grow together, this behavior cannot be tolerated as a team. So, voicing out is one way for us to teach them that it is okay to feel that way, and it needs to be voiced out.
So it is about the theory of reflexivity. So they have to be thinking, it is my decision, my action that influence other people to behave that way. Mm-hmm. So it's about, again, the gratefulness. What actually happened to me is because of my action that enabled the person to take opportunity of what happened. So it's about my action actually is the result of the outcome of the other person.
So each and one of them actually trained to become a leader by working together and co-create together as a team. So in a way, they at the end of the day, they realize to become a leader, you do not have to have a job title as leader. They then understand that leader comes from behind. You can actually lead from behind by influencing others to achieve your aim, right? And this is a skill set by itself, to really understand that I do not need to be a leader, as having a job title as leader to lead the team.
So do you do this debrief if they successfully completed a milestone, for example, and you watch how they were doing this? Do you do this debrief so that they can further understand the goodness or the amazing stuff that they didn't realize they were doing and they didn't realize that have changed?
So this is our learning method. Every week when we come in, okay, let's see what's happening this week. Tell me, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Any successes? Any failures? Why? Make them think.
Is this a very intimate session, or it's or it's as big as possible with many people?
It's a very open session. It can be up to 50 students because they are all work in teams. They have their individual projects, so can have max, I think 50 students, that is the magic numbers. Mm-hmm. So they're in teams, and they'll be sharing about their successes and their failures. And they are very open. So there is no being masked. I was saying the first week, they was like, oh, okay, we're all very fine. But when we come to the week 5, week 6, some will be in tears, sharing their pain. Say, oh, don't worry, we'll help you. I still remember there was one group. And these are groups of girls. They were not so good with videos, Can anybody help me with videos? Any team can help? And there was some other teams will come and help, sharing of knowledge on how to develop a video for the crowdfunding. So it's open, it's quite intimate. Because of the intimacy, it helps to build that relationship and that community.
Yeah.
And helping each other to want to succeed as a big team. It's just like an organization.
But how do you manage chaos in your own thinking? So, for example, if at the in a group setting, for example, chaotic moments are obviously, the rule of the day. But chaotic thinking in your own head, just trying to digest what's happening, what are you telling the students or the entrepreneurs themselves to deal with? How are you telling them to deal with the chaos in their own head?
We always say trust the process and, just let go. The moment that you be comfortable with uncomfortable, you'll be okay. So these are the two words that there's two statements that we always tell them. Trust the process, be comfortable with uncomfortable. And this is where you lead to change.
It is difficult because when you become, discomfort, the discomfort, that the desire, the wanting to change, then you start thinking, what's my role at that point to enable that change to happen?
It's not about, if they don't let go, they started to control, not to have that chaos, but, having the discomfort is how they learn.
There we go. Learning to be uncomfortable. And that was this week's episode on managing chaos through co-creation. This is this week's Professionalizing Entrepreneurship. And this podcast series is a collaboration between EFM of Global Entrepreneurship Movement Association and the PPE, Professional Practice in Entrepreneurship. And for more insightful conversation, you got to join us next week as we talk about a call for inclusive entrepreneurship. But right now, we're going to leave you with a couple of thoughts from Brandon, the founder of Serenity Group, and he's going to talk about how his mindset changed when he had a free rider on his team.
Hello, I'm Brandon Bourne. I currently study at the University of Westminster, and I also run my own website and branding design agency based in London called Serenity Web Design, and I've been running that for about a year and a half now, so it's been going really good. My mindset has definitely changed through the entrepreneurship course. I came in quite closed-minded. I was very closed, not very open to new ideas and new theories, and that's one of the reasons why I joined the course. I wanted to stimulate more creativity, and I was quite a creative lull, so I was very closed-minded and didn't really see that there would be progress in the future at that time. However, especially after first year and through the second year, my mind has definitely shifted more to being open and having more of the growth mindset, where I can definitely see the progress and see the vision of where our team is going. So yeah, I definitely think my mindset has changed. And do we have a free rider problem? I do think so. And from my travels around the UK especially, there's a lot of issues in all the teams. My best advice and the thing that we've done to try and avoid that is just to carry on. There's a lot of people in the team that are very committed, including myself and my teammates, and there's only a few free riders. So my theory is that if we keep going on and we keep pushing and showing results and gaining success, I think that will motivate the free riders to stop being free riders and come and join the cause. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It's very trial and error and depends who they are and what they want to do. But I think as long as you are hitting your personal successes, I think that's the main thing that you want to try and do, and that will counteract the free rider problem. But no, we do have a free rider problem, and I think that's the best way for us to solve it. And yeah, my mindset's definitely changed since coming on the course.